Hey guys, what's going on? It's early January. The weather outside, it sucks. It's very Hoth-like outside. I left it kind of hanging last time with the about to pour the silicone for making the mold, but I'm glad I waited because I need to add two more things because we've settled on what we're going to use for the little buttons that go on the front face of that Hoth Binocular. And I gotta put those in the mold as well because I don't want to use the rubber ones because I just suspect paint isn't going to want to stick to that stuff very well. So I'm going to stick those in there real quick. I need to put a little Elmer's glue around the base because I don't want the silicone to even attempt reacting with the adhesive. And that Elmer's glue will help block it. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Alright, this is what I'm going to be using. They're more of those like little rubber bump stops like I used here, but that one's actually called a slider. These are something different, but these are a different size. These are exactly 1/2 inch wide, and they fill the space appropriately. So I'm going to stick these in that mold as well and cast them up at the same time. Alright, I need to start attaching all those parts to like sticks. That way they're a little bit easier to manipulate when I'm putting primer on them. Just something I do, and just gotta wait for this Elmer's glue to dry up, which should probably take under an hour or so. So let me get all those parts stuck to sticks. I got a few pieces of these resin parts that I don't know what kind of resin it is, but the sticky tack does not stick to it, period. Even tape doesn't want to stick to it. And then this one is just too heavy. So I'll just probably put them on a piece of cardboard and then hit them like that. really hate how short the lifespan is on silicone. It's super annoying. Alright, let's see if our mold turned out. That looks pretty good. We got nice clean shapes. I gotta trim off this little bit of flashing here so I can easily pour the resin into those areas where it went over the back. Oh my God. And I still got all of that left. I don't know what I don't have any more molds. Which is a bummer. Oh, I do have old. I have my old hemisphere mold. Try that for fun. Alright, I'm going to let that resin cure for a lot longer than it says. It says you can pull it out in like 10 minutes, which is true, you can, but the parts are soft and I don't want to deal with scratching anything up or messing up one of those parts. So I'm going to let them cure for at least 24 hours before I pop them out of the mold, and then I'm going to let them cure for at least another 24 hours outside of the mold before I think about putting primer on them. And I discovered that the last time I made a mold and some resin parts for the E3 for the stock, and the side piece that goes on the Webley, is they are very flexible and you can very easily manipulate them into a shape you don't want them to be into. So I'm going to let them cure up and really harden up before I throw primer or paint on them. Alright, let's pop those out of the mold and see what they look like. Well, that was really annoying. I didn't get any of the footage because I ran out of memory. But I finished cleaning up this part. It looks good. It's nice and clean now, and I've got a small pile of stuff on the floor here that proves I did it, I guess. Alright, time for a little reveal here. I've known about this part for a minute because Ian discovered it or rediscovered it. I'm not exactly sure how that falls, but I've got my replica part here that fits here in the face. Oh, let me drop it. Just slips in through the back here. That's not quite the position it goes in. It goes in more like that. Right? Well, I know Ian actually discovered or rediscovered the part, which is an old tube. You can see the seat there. It matches. Just got to lop off a couple pins, and I got it to fit in here. It is a super, super tight fit, if it'll go. Yeah, there it goes. I guess it's more like that for you guys. And I gotta shave off some more of the inside here because it is a super tight fit and it actually needs to go a lot further than I can push it in there. So I need to take off a little bit more material here on the inside just so I can fit that piece in there. And what I've got to do to this actually is I have to remove the glass part, which I'm not going to do in this video, I'll do it in the next video. Because if we look at this, the glass part won't fit if I leave it on there. I don't know if you can see it. There's a ledge in here that is where the glass would occupy. It's basically this little lip right here, and it's just in the way. So I've got to take that glass part off. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to make a little bit of extra room here for that part and make it fit better. Alright, for this I'm going to use a little flap wheel bit that I have. This is a really small one. It's actually a Dremel brand one. And I'm just going to, it'll be a little more gentle than using a regular drum sanding bit. So let's fire it up. There we go. Now it comes all the way up. The other part of this is this ring, which is something that Marcus figured out, and that sits on here, but I need to shave off. It sits on here basically, and we need to shave off a little bit of the outside of the ring, so it'll sit down against the top of the tube seat there. Basically, it needs to sit flush, like so. And that's actually what the replica one that was made, it's got that little step on there, and it's replicating what this ring has is a step, because this does not have any sort of step. So put that on there, and that's what it's supposed to be. Okay, made another discovery. Looking at reference photos, actually it was Ian that made this discovery. I had made the mistake, and actually it's probably a mistake a lot of people have made. It was that little red switch, the little red switch that goes right here. Originally, I thought, and probably several people thought, it was one segment, like I cut off and attached over here. Turns out it's not. It's two, and you can see it in certain screens. It kind of looks like it might be just chip paint next to it or something like that, but there is a couple photos that you can see it in an angle, and it's not just any two. It has to be two that are like I guess it's opposite for you. It's kind of like that. One pointed, north-south, one just a little cockeyed off the other one. And so looking at this, you know, the first two here are like not even close, but the middle two, that would work. That would absolutely work. If I look at it from this angle, it's hard to explain, but see how that first, if I put it there and there, actually I think it's, yeah, the second and third on this row will work. So I need to cut those guys off, clean them up, and get them prepped for paint. Luckily, discovered that before I started primering things. I have not primered anything because I really want to go outside and do this, because when I sprayed primer the other day, doing the housing here, it really fogged things up. And I don't have a spray booth, so it just kind of lingers. So I might try and do this in small batches of hitting things with primer. Maybe I'll do all the little parts, and then I'll go through and retouch all the sanded bits on the body here. Anyways, gonna do some cutting real quick. Alright, so another thing I discovered is that I think this little dome, this little half hemisphere, or hemisphere, I should say, looks too small to my eyes when I set it where it's supposed to go, which is right here in the middle. I found a reference photo, and it looks a lot bigger to me, so I'm gonna make a bigger one. And when I poured the resin into that mold, and I had plenty left over, I actually dumped a bunch into my hemisphere mold that I had from when I made the Imperial Probe Droid eyes. So I have some larger hemispheres available. That was very fortuitous. But this one seems about what I think is the correct size. I need to flatten the back on it because it's just all uneven and wavy and stuff. So I'm going to flatten that out, and I'm going to paint up or primer up both of these and see what I think after I kind of fit both of them in place and compare it to the reference photos. Anyways, that's what I'm going to do real quick right now. I'm going to attach this to like a little piece of wood, I think, or something, and then I'm going to use my little belt sander to take that back down and make it flat and smooth. Alright guys, I think that's going to be it for this video. I know it's not a ton of stuff, but I actually got a fair amount of things sorted out here. Got the replacement for the replica tube socket. Got the ring from the V8, the visible V8 kit, cast up and cleaned up and fit onto the faceplate with the tube socket, and got pretty much everything prepped for primer, and even recut a new little red switch that goes right next to the visor on the top of the faceplate. I gotta do the primer. I gotta still start attaching things. I'm trying to make up my mind on this piece on if I actually want to paint it. The color on it is really good. It's kind of got a metallic powder in it already, it looks like. It makes me think I might be able to just polish it. But I could, since it's already a nice metallic looking gray color, it almost looks metal already, I could just use graphite, you know, the stuff that's in your number 2 pencils and rub that on there. That'll give it a very metallic look. Debating on that. Let me know what you think. And yeah, I think that's it. That's all we're gonna do. So, all right, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Get out there and make some stuff, and check out the blog, popchopshop.com. And I'll see you next time.